Kat and I are at the Cabo airport shipping off 2 puppies to go to Canada, which is a very sad part of the process of being a foster parent, but it is time to pass on the dogs. Bella is going to her forever home and will become Abby, and Biscuit is going to another foster up in Canada. So they are traveling on WestJet today, and we were just getting them checked in. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of the process. So we like to think of it as kind of being part of a bucket brigade. So there's, the original people who find the dog, and then they pass it on to someone who helps get it to a foster, and the foster home might find the forever home, along with, in this case, Pawsport is the nonprofit that we're working with. Sometimes there's a separate transport person to go from La Paz to the San Jose del Cabo airport, which is Tina and Steve behind me here are transporting dogs that were fostered by someone else. Kat and I are bringing our dogs in from Todos Santos, and they brought 2 dogs in from La Paz this morning that have forever homes up in the Vancouver area. And then I think it's Mariana here is the person who is taking them on the next step on their journey. So she is the flight angel. So anyone can be a flight angel. If you've got a flight from somewhere in Mexico to somewhere in the United States or Canada, ideally a direct flight, you can connect with a local nonprofit, and they will often have a dog that needs to go on that route north, and they will work through the process with you so that when you get to the airport, it should go smoothly. So there's always a lot of just activity when you get to the airport. So I like to advise that 2 people be involved in each of these parts of the process. Ideally, Mariana is traveling on her own, but once you get past the desk here and get the dogs checked in, everything is pretty simple. You just wait to get to the other end. But the process of getting them checked in can be a little bit hair-raising. So you want to have ideally someone who's done it before. There's 5 of us going through this process, me just pretty much making a video, Steve just kind of handling the dogs while the ladies get everything settled. But there's a lot of paperwork and things like that involved in making sure everything gets done. If there's any payments that have to happen, the nonprofit should be able to tell you if this is your dog or if this is a rescue dog going north. So depending on the airline, things are different in terms of what you should probably say. Ask lots of questions of the nonprofit that you're working with. I noticed in Puerto Vallarta, they have something set up at the airport to really help with people getting foster dogs north. So definitely, if you are taking a flight, you can be an angel flight host. That is just wonderful. So once they reach the other side, someone from the nonprofit or the adoptees will meet you there. As a flight angel, you're going to have to go through the customs and getting the dog, or the dogs in this case, out to the area where where the public can meet you. So I'm not sure how Mariana is going to handle moving all these dogs around, but she's done this many times before. She actually flew in to Cabo earlier today from somewhere else in Mexico to be able to take these dogs and take them up to Canada, which is where her final destination is. So she is well versed at this and is going to get these dogs all north to their next family. I think actually Eloin is going to meet her in Canada, in the Vancouver airport. And he is with the nonprofit agency. He's going to take them for the night, get them cleaned up if they need to be cleaned up, and get them ready to go on to their forever families. So if you're doing this here in Cabo, by the way, the best thing to do is when you pull into the Terminal 2 of the airport, there's a little area where, for the most part, it's the vans and some of the buses that pull up. It's to the right before you reach the terminal. If you pull in there and pull to the curb right away, there's a nice little gravelly spot where you can get everything kind of set the dogs aside and get the crates assembled and all the stickers put on the crate and whatnot, and just get ready. You can hang out in that area. There's a little shady area there, and then bring them into the airport once you're all settled down. It is always a very emotional process to be passing on foster dogs, especially these, because we've had them for probably 4 months now, but we've just got about 2 weeks before we head north. And so we are taking one dog that is Blossom is heading north with us. She's the dog that was sick and needed 40 days of antibiotic treatment. So she's 40 days behind the other dogs in terms of getting fixed and getting her shots and getting all of that. So we're going to take her up to Portland. She just got fixed, and we're going to get her finished up in Portland. But I'm going to go back to these guys and wrap up this process. I'll be back with you in a second. So it's taken about 25 minutes to get the dogs kind of checked in, and that was with 4 dogs. It would take a little bit less time with a dog or 2 dogs, but still they're pretty efficient when they're doing a bunch of them at the same time. So you do need to plan to be at the airport, I think like 2 hours before your flight, if not a little bit more, to be able to check the dogs in, because they want to be able to get everything done and everything kind of squared away. And as you see, it takes a while. And also it's kind of nice because it's not peak time here at the airport because the flight's not leaving for another few hours. So it's interesting. We'll start crying as soon as we reach the car, because right now there's so much to do. There's so much kind of activity and your adrenaline's up and whatnot. It's after you kind of like take that breath that the emotion of having passed on a foster dog seems to take over. So, and there's Biscuit barking. Biscuit's not ready to go yet. I'm not ready to let her go. But yeah, this is, as Kat likes to say, it's part of the bucket brigade of getting these dogs to their forever homes.